Sorry about that. So continuing on, I was wondering why every one of these psychics from this green tea room that I keep signing up to, I kept getting denied to go see them. So I thought that was so strange. Like I was getting denied in on my online when I look in my email. So I thought this is very strange, but now I know that that was God protecting me from further basically destroying myself and falling into I was already in a dark pit. I was in a very dark place. Like I can't explain it all to you that you would understand what dark place I was in. It was horrible. It was a horrible time. It was just very horrible, very fearful time. I couldn't, it was just it was just a horrible, horrible time. I would never wish anything like this to happen to anyone. I would never wish anybody to even go through what I went through with all of this. That's why um anybody, if you're out there and you're still following these teachings and you're practicing these meditations, I'm here to tell you they're all lies, and they're all just going to lead you to hell. They're leading you to hell, and they're doctrines of devils, and they're just there to trick you so that when you die, your soul is going to go to hell. I'm warning you. Oh my goodness, don't go through anything that I went through. Um so during this time, I didn't know that was God protecting me from protecting me from, further getting myself more and more demonized, so then it was even there was a time where like there'll be times where I'm in control of myself, to go about my day. But then sometimes the minute I'm alone in my room, I would find I can't control myself anymore. Whatever it was would the demonic force would just take over, and I'd be doing all these I'd be like just like my body would just be moving without me. I'd be find myself falling in the floor, doing all these bowing up and down. I didn't know what it was, and then at one point I even started seeing. I was able now to see like these round things all over my room, and I didn't know what those were. But now I know those were basically demons in my room that I could see. And at one point I just at this time I didn't even know that they were demonic. I just knew I was confused, I needed help, and I was just going through I was just suffering a lot. I was just I couldn't even explain what was happening to me. So one time when I was there, and this thing took over, and I was in the floor, and I heard almost like this this voice was kind of like telling me, what are you doing? Like these are demonic. And the minute I'd think they're demonic, I'd become so fearful, and I'd think, no, no, they're not demonic. There's no way they could be demonic, because I'd already fallen so far into that dark pit, and there was no way I could even see myself getting out of it. Like I was already in a level where I can't control myself. So I was like, how am I going to get out of this? So I avoid every time that thought would come that this is demonic. I'd think I would just fall into fear, and then I'd convince myself like nope, nope. This is all just preparation for the ascension. That's why all of this is happening, and it was just so crazy. So then one time one time I was my body was pulled up from the bed when it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. And I was just, I couldn't control myself again, and my arms were just moving by themselves, and my legs, and doing all these symbols, and I didn't even know what it was. And then I heard I heard this voice, and this voice said, pray. That was all the voice said. The voice said, pray. And I thought to myself, but I don't know how to pray. That was the thought that came to my mind. But then immediately I just thought, let me obey this voice, so I got on my hands and knees, and I came up with whatever prayer I could come up with. And I remember, after that, like one time, even my sister came into my room, and she came with my other older sister, who came to see me, and I was there in my room, and then my arms started moving by themselves, and then they were just looking at me like they were really freaked out, and I was there, and I was just trying to tell them, oh, calm down, or trying to make it seem like it's not a big deal, but they were really looking, and they were seeing that I really needed help, and they started talking about God, and like they were like, oh, do you pray and stuff, and I became very defensive. I was arguing with them when they were mentioning about church and God, and how I was just arguing with them, because I was believing that whatever was happening to me, that it was just it was just part of there to just help me with this ascension thing that would happen. So I wasn't really I was just arguing with them, because I didn't want to believe that it was demonic, because once I believe that it's demonic, like a great fear would come upon me, and I was thinking, how, if I got myself into this, then how am I going to get myself out? So they eventually left, but starting then, that's when they realized that something was seriously wrong with me, and now I know that throughout that time they were praying for me. They were just praying for me, because they knew that I really needed help, and that I was really in a dark place. So I remember one time I was, and during this time there would be moments where like um there was moments where like I'd go like an entire week of just laying in bed, like literally I couldn't move out of my bed. I would just be laying in bed, and I find myself falling asleep, and it was a very um abnormal sleep that would come over me, and my entire body would feel completely exhausted, like extreme fatigue, to the point where like I'll just be stuck there in bed, like if I needed to get out of bed, I'd literally have to crawl myself out of bed. That's how fatigued I would be. And all of this, it went on for like for months, for like this. And one time my sister-in-law, usually I didn't, and she had recently just came from overseas, so, and I didn't really know her that well. I'll just see her now and then. So this time when she came, it seems maybe my mom had been talking to her about me or something, but this time she decided to come up to see me, and she came up to my room, and she was just looking around, and she was just looking at even the strange picture that I had. Oh, before this time, I'd in my seeking for help, one time I decided even to I was looking online, and I saw this meetup group. So this meetup group, it spoke of they're like women's circle, and they are women's circle, and it's like this goddess, whatever, I didn't even know what it was. I was just seeking help for whatever it was that was going on with me. So I ended up going to that women's circle, and I went there. We were all sitting, and it was all women, and they started talking, and saying about how that's a celebration for, I don't know, all this goddess something. I didn't even know, I didn't even know what it was. And they were all pretty serious about this, and they were all like, then they started talking about how they've actually participated in some rituals, and how they were into Wicca. At this time I didn't even know what Wicca was. Now is when I know that Wicca is just another name for those who practice witchcraft. But I at this time I wasn't even aware. I was just in complete ignorance, and just going along, like wherever place this I guess this demonic thing that was in me was guiding me to go. And so they sat there, and they introduced ourselves, and we read through this thing that they had us all read, and then they were passing this cup of milk, just one big glass of milk, and they were saying you could just hold it, or if you want you could drink it. Me, there was no way I was drinking that. I know one of the ladies drank it, and they just passed it around. And I know even before that they asked us to go with candles and with this anything that was like the color white or green, or but so I went, and participated there with them, and I still didn't get an answer to what was going on with me. And so that's when, in my darkest time, where like I didn't know what to do anymore. I'd seeked help. I couldn't see help coming anytime soon. So I was there one of those times, just stuck in my bed. I was online, and my sister-in-law just came in at that time, and she was looking all around my room, and she was looking at all the because at the time they'd given us, from that meeting, they'd given us this red this red object that they had us make during that time. So I brought that along with me in my room, and also like with the pictures that I had on the wall. So my sister-in-law was just looking around, and she started talking to me, and she told me that how my older brother, who she's married to, how how now that she was 8 months pregnant, and she was speaking about how like it'd be good if she had somebody there for when my older brother leaves, sometimes because my older brother, sometimes he would stay overnight at work, and she was 8 months pregnant, and she was still kind of new to this country. So she was she was just thinking it would be more safer for her and better if she had somebody there. That's how she explained it to me. But I know like God must have guided her to come to me, and there was another reason also for why she picked me, to do that. So at this time I was thinking, no way am I coming over to stay at your home for a couple of months. I don't know if it was those things that were making me think that, but I was just thinking no. But then I remember one night I had a really disturbing night where like I almost felt like there was some demonic force in my room, so I couldn't even sleep. Like I literally felt like a demonic force that was like there, and that it was it was just like, it was just a very strong demonic force, and I couldn't sleep that all night. And I remember the next day I immediately texted my sister-in-law. I told her, oh, I'm packing everything, I'm coming over to your house. I'm coming to stay with you guys. And so that's what I did. And I remember the first night that I was there, she was in the kitchen, and she was cooking. And oh, I didn't mention this. My oldest brother, he's actually called to be a pastor, and my sister-in-law, she's actually, her calling that God gave to her is to be a prophetess, for the nations. And at this time I didn't know this about my sister-in-law. So I went there, and we were in the kitchen, and I started telling her about this strange happenings that have been happening to me. And she just listened very quietly, and when I finished, she told me I'd opened myself to demonic attacks, and yeah. And even while I was telling her, I started manifesting, like my arms started moving around, and she started praying for me, and her prayers really really helped me, because I was at this time when I was staying with her, I would just follow her around in the house everywhere, like, because every time when I was left alone, I would just get really scared. So I would just be following her because whenever I was with her, I was really at peace. Like these things weren't disturbing me. And she started teaching me more and more about God, and while I was there, I realized that I finally came to the realization that yes, I had opened myself up to these demonic forces. And because she knew a lot about these, because through her travels, to different nations, she'd seen a lot of these, of people who are demonic possessed and manifesting like this, and she'd actually helped to deliver a lot of people and prayed for them, and everything. So she's the one who got me back to believing in God, because first of all, there was no way I could get delivered if my faith in God had became completely zero, and to the point where I was so confused. So she guided me back to and guided me into accepting Jesus into my heart as my Lord and my Savior. And then after that, she started praying more and more for me, where it was sessions where I would manifest, and then I would fall, and then I'd be spitting out all these, doing all this, spitting and stuff. And she continued like that. And you know some people, when they go through deliverance, it happens instantly, they're instantly delivered. But for other people, it's a process. And that, for me, it was a process, because I didn't know this at the time, but now after being fully delivered by Jesus, I know that because what I'd done was open myself to so many demons, and so many, like, legions of demons. That's why for me it had to be a process like that. So oh, and it was a long process. And but God saw me through it all. God saw me through, especially those demons, when they saw that, when they realized that now I knew the truth, and that I was trying to be free from them. That's when they really started disturbing me. There was no way I could sleep. There was, everywhere I was just disturbed. Sometimes I'll just be falling in the floor. Like, it was just crazy. It was just a long process. But God saw me through. I remember one time I was laying in my bed, and I just heard Jesus telling me, I heard the voice of God, and God was telling me, I am your refuge. And that really spoke to me. And God guided me to start listening to the song "I Will Exalt You." And at that time, I was having a really bad headache, and I was just laying there. So God guided me to listen to it. And once I listened to that song "I Will Exalt You," the headache completely went away. And I remember one time God even told me, He's my shield. And through that, God also started revealing Himself more and more to me. I started getting visions of where God was showing me how He wants me to be. He was showing me holiness, like the holy dressing. He kept showing me visions of different women, and different ethnicities, whether Caucasian or African American, or but they were all like, he was showing me the long dresses or skirts that he wanted the women to be wearing. And he was showing me just his standard of holiness, and how he what he wanted. And God started just revealing to me more and more visions about not just holiness, but different things. And it's a really this is truly, it's a long testimony. And I don't know if I'll even be able to cover all of it, but it was just different things all the while I was going through this process. And eventually, God even guided me to start to attend this one church. And I know it was God, because a lot of things happened while I was there. And God opened my eyes to a lot of things. And it was just a very interesting time, where I was learning more about who God is. Finally, I knew the truth. Finally, I knew the truth, that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. I remember, like, before, when I was following those demonic teachings, they would kind of tell you that there's many ways, and you just have to choose a path, but there's many different paths to reach to the same place. But now I'm aware that truly Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. There is no other way. There is no other truth. And only through Jesus can you have life. Only through Him can you have eternal life. And I'm just so thankful to God. I'm just so thankful. This the process of me being delivered is it was I saw went and saw so many great men of God, this great prophet, and even God guided me to go and one time and see this and going to this meeting that Benny Hinn was having, and throughout all those times they I would end up falling the and even with the prophet that did deliverance upon me, and and also the prophesied to me some of the things that God was calling me to, and even my sister-in-law, some of these things she'd already revealed to me of what God was calling me to at such a time as this. And it was just I know one day I'll make other videos to reveal to you guys some of the things that God revealed to me through visions and everything about even these last days that we're living in. But I just it was just what God has done for me. I even my words are not enough to describe it. My words are not enough to describe it. Oh God, God has been so good to me, and I just thank Him for opening my eyes to the truth. I thank Him for guiding me to truth, and for just leading me and guiding me out of that dark pit that I was in. Now eventually God guided me away from the other church when the time was right, and it was a new season for me, and now He's guided me to a newer place. It's I've been there for close to a year now. Not yet fully a year yet, but it's a Pentecostal church, and it seems this is what God was preparing me for all this time. And it's just been great, and eye opening. Well, I've added on to my knowledge of the other things that God revealed to me, and going there, my eyes has even opened even more to other things. And I'm glad that in this church is where I now received the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, and I just thank God through this journey, through everything. I just thank God. I just thank God. Truly, I just thank God. He alone is worthy. He alone is worthy. He alone is worthy. Oh, only He is worthy. Yeah, so thank you guys for listening and tuning in, and hopefully you'll subscribe and hopefully listen to my other videos, more of what God revealed to me, and this entire process. And yeah, thank you so much.